All right, bastards, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're diving headfirst into a shitload of research on Australia at the Olympics. I thought this was going to be, dull as dishwater, but holy shit, was I wrong.
Australia's Olympic history is more fucked up and fascinating than you'd think.
So it's not all just g'day, mate, and chucking shrimp on the Barbie.
No, mate, it's a hell of a lot more interesting than that. Did you know their first Olympic appearance was this accountant named Edwin Flack?
Edwin fucking Flack. What a name. Sounds like a reject from a Dickens novel. What'd he do? Count medals.
He basically said fuck it, left his accounting gig in London, and waltzed into the 1896 Athens Games, took home 2 golds in the 800-meter and 1500-meter.
So some pencil-pushing wanker just decided to become an Olympian on a whim. Balls of steel, this Flack guy.
It's a pretty badass story. And get this, Australia was a founding member of the International Olympic Committee, even though they were still a colony at the time.
Founding member. So they were in on the whole Olympic bullshit from the start.
Yep. And there's another twist. They were actually represented by a New Zealander in those early meetings.
A Kiwi representing the Aussies. What the fuck?
That shows how intertwined the sporting history of those two countries is. Even competed together as Australasia in the early Olympics.
Australasia. Sounds like something a 5-year-old made up. But all right, back to the Aussies. How many of these Olympics have they actually bothered to show up for?
Every single Summer Olympics.
No shit. That's dedication to getting your ass kicked on a global stage.
And they've hosted the damn things twice. Melbourne in '56 and Sydney in 2000. Brisbane's up next in 2032.
3 times. Jesus Christ, they must be obsessed. Don't they have anything better to do down under?
They're crazy about sports, and hosting the Olympics is a huge deal for them. But it hasn't always been a victory parade. 1976 was a real kick in the nuts.
What happened? Did they run out of beer and Vegemite?
Worse. They went from being a top contender to winning absolutely 0 gold medals, their worst performance since 1936. It was a massive wake-up call, and it led to the creation of the Australian Institute of Sport, AIS, in 1981.
The AIS. What the hell is that? Some kangaroo training facility.
Basically, yeah. It's a high-performance training center that revolutionized Australian sports. They poured resources into coaching, sports science, and talent identification. It's one of the reasons they've been so successful since then.
So they got their asses handed to them and said, right, let's get serious and pump some fucking steroids into these athletes.
Not quite steroids, but they definitely got serious about investing in their athletes. And it paid off big time. They've been racking up medals ever since.
All right, so they're good in the summer. But what about the winter stuff? Don't they just melt into puddles when they see snow?
That's where you're wrong. Australia's actually become a force in the Winter Olympics, too. They snagged their first winter medal in 1994, their first gold in 2002, and they've been consistently winning medals ever since.
Hold the phone. Are you telling me these sunburned bastards are good at skiing and shit?
They've got mountains down there, mate. Snowy mountains, don't underestimate them.
Well, fuck me sideways. All right, let's talk medals.
Yeah.
What are they best at? Besides drinking beer, obviously.
Swimming, for one. They've got the second highest number of swimming golds and overall medals, only behind the U.S.
Makes sense. They got more coastline than a goddamn pirate map. But who are the rock stars? The Aussie legends of the pool.
Well, you've got Emma McKeon. This woman is a swimming machine. She won a whopping 7 medals, 4 of them gold in a single Olympics. Tokyo 2020.
7 fucking medals in one Olympics. Is she part dolphin or something?
She's definitely one of the greats. And this might surprise you, but they're also killing it in skateboarding.
Skateboarding.
Yeah.
Seriously. Those surfing VB swilling blokes are good on a skateboard too.
Keegan Palmer snagged gold in men's park skateboarding in Tokyo. And in Paris 2024, he and Arisa True won gold in their respective park events.
So they're good at swimming, good at skateboarding. What the hell are they bad at?
Funny you should ask. Their tennis record is actually a bit shit, considering they've produced some of the biggest names in the sport.
Wait, the country that gave us Rod Laver and Margaret Court can't find its ass with both hands on a tennis court.
It's a head-scratcher, right? They did break the drought with a men's doubles gold in 2024, but yeah, tennis isn't exactly their forte.
Fucking hell, who would have thought? So tell me more about this AIS thing. How the hell did they turn things around so drastically?
Well, after the 1976 debacle, they realized they couldn't just rely on natural talent and a she'll-be-right attitude. They needed a systematic approach, a way to identify and nurture talent and to provide athletes with the best possible training and support.
So they said, let's stop being lazy bastards and actually put some effort in.
Pretty much. They analyzed what other successful sporting nations were doing, learned from their mistakes, and invested heavily in sports science and technology.
So basically, they stole everyone else's good ideas and made them better.
They were smart about it. They adapted and refined those ideas to suit the Australian context. And it wasn't just about training facilities and fancy equipment. They also focused on building a strong sporting culture, fostering a sense of camaraderie and national pride.
So they brainwashed those athletes into believing they were fighting for the glory of Australia.
They tapped into something powerful for sure. That Aussie spirit, that never say die attitude.
A shitload of government funding, I bet.
Yeah, that helped too. They realized that if they wanted to compete on a global level, they needed to invest serious cash.
Makes sense. You can't win gold medals on a shoestring budget.
Exactly. And they've been reaping the rewards ever since.
All right, I'm starting to see why this whole Australia at the Olympics thing is more interesting than I thought. But let's be honest, it's not all about winning, right?
Of course not. It's about the stories, the triumphs, the heartbreaks, the sheer fucking spectacle of it all.
All right, so we've established that these Aussies aren't just a bunch of beer-swilling beach bums. They're actually pretty damn good at this Olympics racket. But what about some of those legendary moments, the shit that makes you go, holy fuck, did that just happen?
Well, you can't talk about iconic Australian Olympic moments without mentioning Kathy Freeman lighting the Olympic torch at the Sydney 2000 opening ceremony.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking cool. A powerful image, all that Aboriginal history and shit. But she didn't just light the torch, did she?
Nope. She went on to win gold in the 400-meter race a few days later. Talk about pressure.
Imagine the weight of the entire nation on your shoulders, then having to run your ass off. Must have shit herself sideways.
It was a defining moment both for Freeman and for Australia, a real symbol of reconciliation and national unity.
Enough with the touchy-feely bullshit. Give me some more of those holy shit moments.
How about Stephen Bradbury's gold in speed skating at the 2002 Winter Olympics? The guy was trailing the pack basically out of the race, and then all of a sudden everyone in front of him wipes out.
Like some cartoon bullshit.
Straight up. He went from last to first in a matter of seconds. Pure luck, some might say, but you gotta be in it to win it right.
It's like the universe decided to give the underdog a bone. All right, what else?
The men's 4 by 100-meter freestyle relay win in Sydney 2000 was absolute mayhem. The U.S. team were the hot favorites, unbeatable, everyone thought. But the Aussies, they smashed the world record and took those cocky Yanks down.
That must have been sweet. Did the crowd go ape shit?
The place went bonkers. People were losing their minds. It was one of those moments that you just had to be there to experience.
All right, so we've got the triumphs, the underdog stories. What about some epic fails? You know, those what the fuck are they thinking moments?
Well, their performance at the 1976 Montreal Games was a bit of a shit show, as we mentioned. No gold medals. For a country obsessed with winning, that was a national humiliation.
Yeah, that's got to be a tough one to swallow. But hey, at least it led to the creation of the AIS and a shitload of medals later on.
Every cloud has a silver lining, I guess. But seriously, that 1976 debacle was a wake-up call. It forced Australia to confront its sporting weaknesses and to rethink its entire approach to elite athletic development.
So a kick in the balls can be a good thing sometimes. Who knew? But speaking of challenges, what are some of the hurdles these Aussies might face in the future? Besides the fact that they're all probably slowly turning into giant spiders, I mean.
Funding for sports is always a battle. It's expensive to train athletes to a world-class level, and there are always other priorities competing for government dollars.
Yeah, like building bigger and better stadiums for those overpaid footy players.
Touché. And then there's the pressure that comes with being a top-performing nation. It can be a lot to handle for young athletes, all those expectations.
Imagine being a teenager and having the entire fucking country breathing down your neck expecting you to win gold. No thanks.
It's a double-edged sword. National pride can be a powerful motivator, but it can also be a crushing burden.
Yeah, those poor bastards. All right, let's cut the crap and get to the juicy stuff. What's your prediction for Brisbane 2032? Will they smash it on home turf?
Home advantage can be a huge factor, but it also adds a ton of pressure. It's a mixed bag, really. I think we can expect some incredible performances from the Australians, but it's impossible to say how the medal tally will shake out.
Come on, mate. Give us some real insight. You're the expert here. What's your gut feeling?
Okay, I think Australia has the potential to have its best Olympics ever in Brisbane. They've got the momentum, the talent, and the whole country will be behind them.
I like the sound of that. But besides all the usual suspects, swimming, track and field, all that jazz, what are some of the underdog events where Australia might pull a rabbit out of the hat?
Keep an eye on the archery team. They've been quietly making a name for themselves on the international circuit.
Archery. Seriously, that's like watching paint dry.
Don't knock it till you try it. It takes incredible precision focus and mental toughness.
All right, all right. I'll give it a shot. What else?
Their judo team has been steadily improving over the past few years. They could be a dark horse in Brisbane.
Judo, eh? Interesting. Anything else I should add to my Olympic bingo card?
Don't forget about the equestrian events. Australia has a strong tradition in that sport, and they've got some talented riders who could challenge for medals.
Horseback riding. Isn't that a bit posh for those down-under blokes?
You'd be surprised. They're more versatile than you think.
Okay, so they're good at archery, judo, horseback riding. Is there anything these bastards can't do?
Well, they still haven't figured out how to win consistently at tennis. But hey, nobody's perfect, right?
True that. But seriously, after digging through all this research, I'm starting to think Australia might just be the most badass country at the Olympics. They've got the talent, the determination, and that unique Aussie spirit that makes them so damn entertaining to watch.
They're definitely a force to be reckoned with. And let's not forget their Paralympic team, which is consistently among the top performing nations in the world.
Right, the Paralympics. Those athletes are absolute legends, overcoming incredible challenges to compete at the highest level.
Their stories are truly inspiring. They embody the Olympic spirit in its purest form.
Yeah, it's a reminder that the Olympics are about so much more than just medals and national pride. It's about pushing the limits of human potential, about celebrating the power of the human spirit.
Well said. The Olympics at their best are a testament to the indomitable will of the human spirit, a celebration of diversity, and a reminder that anything is possible if you set your mind to it.
All right, mate, you're starting to get a bit too philosophical for me. Let's wrap this up before I start crying into my beer.
Fair enough. But before we go, I want to leave you with this thought. Australia's Olympic journey is a testament to the power of perseverance, innovation, and a healthy dose of Aussie grit. They've shown the world that even a country known for its laid-back lifestyle can achieve greatness on the global stage.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Australia at the Olympics. Who knew those crazy bastards were so damn interesting?
It's been a wild ride, that's for sure.
So we've talked about the triumphs, the heartbreaks, the sheer fucking absurdity of Australia's Olympic history. But what is it about these Aussies that makes them such goddamn entertaining Olympians?
It's that Aussie spirit, mate. They don't take themselves too seriously. They're out there having a good time even when the pressure's on.
Yeah, they're like the ultimate party crashers. They show up, drink all your beer, snag a few gold medals, and then bugger off back down under.
And they're not afraid to celebrate their victories in style. Remember that iconic image of Kathy Freeman draped in both the Aboriginal and Australian flags after winning gold in Sydney?
Yeah, that was a powerful moment. A real fuck you to the racists and a celebration of Indigenous culture.
It was a statement for sure, and it captured that unique blend of national pride and cultural awareness that you often see in Australian athletes.
They're proud to be Aussies, but they're not afraid to acknowledge the darker chapters of their history. It's a refreshing change from some of those other countries where they're all about blind patriotism and sweeping shit under the rug.
Right. They've got that larrikin spirit, that willingness to challenge authority and to poke fun at themselves.
And they're bloody good at it. They've managed to turn this whole laid-back, she'll-be-right attitude into a winning formula.
It's a paradox, isn't it? This country that's famous for its beaches and barbecues is also a powerhouse on the global sporting stage.
They're like a bunch of sharks in disguise. You think they're just chilling in the water, but then bam, they strike.
And they've got the results to back it up. They're consistently one of the top performing nations at the Olympics.
So what's the secret sauce? What are they putting in the water down there?
Maybe it's the Vegemite, or maybe it's something in the air. Whatever it is, it's working.
I'm starting to think we need to send a team of scientists down under to investigate.
Maybe we should just go on a fact-finding mission ourselves. A few beers, some shrimp on the Barbie, and we'll crack the code in no time.
Sounds like a plan. But in all seriousness, this deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
Yeah.
I went in thinking Australia at the Olympics was going to be a snooze fest, but I was dead wrong.
It's a testament to the power of research, mate. You never know what you're going to find when you start digging.
And that, my friends, is the beauty of the deep dive. We take those seemingly boring topics and turn them into a wild fucking ride.
So buckle up, because you never know where we'll take you next.
That's it for this episode, you bunch of legends. Join us next time for another deep dive into something you probably didn't think you'd give a shit about. Cheers.